Today, we're making the goat of all appetizers. This is spinach artichoke dip, perfect for any big games coming up. We need a can of artichoke hearts. I don't think it's useful or beneficial here to use fresh, so get the canned. This is that block of frozen spinach you can buy in your store. If you make fresh spinach, it's going to be very watery, and watery will kill this dish. So make sure whatever you're using, it's very, very dry. Cream cheese, Monterey Jack, and Gruyere. I'm going to shred those in this food processor here, not the cream cheese, but the other two. You could use any mix here of like a melty cheese and then also kind of like a funky fun cheese. Some people use mozzarella. Do whatever you want. Also, if you want to use a box grater, that's totally fine. This whole dish is made in the food processor, so it's easier to just not dirty multiple things. This is also way faster. But once you get that out, I'm going to transfer it to a bowl. Just give it a mix. That way the two are kind of evenly dispersed. They're the same color, so it's hard to tell. On the side, though, I'm also cooking some green onions and a little bit of butter. I saw Chef John over at Food Wishers do this. Ever since I saw it and I tried it, I do think the green onion add a nice taste to the artichoke. It really is a nice complementary mix in between the artichoke and the spinach. So I'm just going to cook these in a little bit of butter. You don't really need to cook them down hard. I'm cooking them until you see that butter just start to bubble and foam a little bit. You don't want to brown your butter either. Mix them up, give them a nice, bath into that butter. And once you see the butter get kind of to this point right here, it's just bubbling. I'm going to kill that heat, let them sit in there for another minute or two while I prep everything else, but then that's going to join that main mix. So now starting to make this, we're going to pour in those artichokes. We're going to get that cream cheese in. We're going to add spinach. Obviously, that's what you need. We also are going to add in this green onions, which is super helpful. We're going to add in one shallot that I've also chopped up, which was in that cup. I forgot to put it onto the cut, but that's fine. Then we're going to add the spinach and the cheese, about a quarter of that cheese mix right now, and then we're going to add another quarter of it shortly. If you see things clumping here in the beginning, give them a little bit of a mix. You could also add the sour cream and mayo now if you want, but I like to try to get everything chopped up and then kind of smooth everything out with that later. Once you get to that texture, I'm going to add in that quarter cup of mayo and then about 200 grams of sour cream. This is just going to really give a nice lusciousness to this. I've seen people completely omit it and only use cream cheese, but trust me, this is real nice. Add a little bit of that salt as well. Give that a mix by hand first to kind of incorporate it. And then I'm just going to give it a very nice little pulse here just to really kind of mix everything together. But that's it. That's your dip. Look at how beautiful it is. It's not runny. It's not watery. It holds its shape, which is what you want. If this was too loose, probably add a little bit more cream cheese and a little more of anything that you can kind of bind it with, a little maybe spinach or a little more artichoke. But I'm going to now throw this into a ramekin. Do this in batches, and you could serve them at a party nice and slowly. You could fire them off every 10 or 15 minutes, but just kind of flatten it out nicely, cover it in that nice cheese. I'm going to take it into a 450-degree oven for 15 minutes. Very simple, very fast. This comes together, especially if you prep it in advance. This is super easy for any kind of party. You could put these in large baking pans if you want to do more. Here we are at the 10-minute mark. It's not nearly getting as browned as I want, so for the last 5 minutes I threw it in my toaster oven on the broil setting, and that's what you're looking for right there. That's exactly what you want. You want to see that caramelization and browning of that cheese on the top. Take it out. I like to let it sit for a few minutes to just kind of set and cool down a bit. You don't want to dive in while it's boiling hot, but let's dive in there. I have two options here. Got some tortilla chips, which I think are fun, but also if you want to kind of make it a little fancier, you can serve, that's a little French bread there that I cut into nice little rounds, and you can kind of serve it like that. But look at that. It pulls apart. It's gooey. It's not watery at all. It holds its form on the chips. It's exactly what you want. The melted cheese on the top is always going to stay kind of chunky. Nothing you can do about that, but the dip itself is fantastic. Make this soon.